Michael Penix Jr. had a bounce-back week, making plays with his hands and
with his butt.
Is the new dynamic kickoff working? The NFL says yes, and kickers are adjusting to it.
We're asking these kickers to do what they call dirty balls.
Plus, Aaron Rodgers went to Ireland. The Ravens are spiraling, and one Cardinals fan became the key to unlock a host of new nightmares for me.
With his butt.
Welcome to Shutout Football. I'm Jeff Stoltzfus. That's Kevin. Week 4 provided a lot, but it did not provide the catharsis some fans were looking for.
Does the word sad apply at all to this?
No, because misery loves company. Let's get into it with the NFL Roast. The desert. Nothing grows in the desert. The Cardinals featured a new uniform after they identified the element missing from their jerseys: freckles. It looked like someone sneezed on them. The Cardinals offense came out flaccid and uninspired. I guess the jerseys, inspired by a drop cloth, weren't pulling their weight. Kyler Murray was picked off twice, but it wasn't entirely his fault. Marvin Harrison Jr. was quiet quitting on routes and juggling passes like a drunk circus clown. Murray threw a pass to no one, and it was only slightly less likely to be caught. What's Marvin Harrison Sr. doing these days?
They challenged him this year. They wanted to play at 1,000 miles an hour.
That seems completely reasonable. I heard the same message was delivered to Rashee Rice. Where do you want me to look right now? I am not a spider. Jackson Smith and Jigba was called for holding and had words for the ref. But Statler and Waldorf's reaction was the cherry on top.
That's number 11.
Look at that ref. I thought we were about to see the belt. This game was filthy with terrifying birds, animated by AI that likely self-terminated after, and fans that didn't let a little thing like murder keep them from the game. The Cardinals dropped their second game in 4 days and couldn't fight their way out of a heavy cardigan. Welcome to Ireland, the birthplace of Lucky Charms and a beer you can cut with a fork. You could hang a porch swing off those shoulders. Kenneth Gainwell river danced his way to over 100 yards and 2 scores. Carson Wentz did exactly what they asked of him, very little. They know better than to let this used corncob off the leash, even in the honky motherland. The Steelers were up against their greatest test to date.
Brian Flores is D.
It is quite formidable. If J.J. McCarthy were a girl, I think he'd be an Ashley. Just a thought. Jalen Ramsey discovered the meaning of irony after he faked a hamstring injury, only to suffer a hamstring injury. The Steelers ran a tush-push, and Aaron Rodgers wanted no part of it. He looked like he was directing traffic from a urinal. So this is where Mercedes-Benzes are made.
Every week we write down a strengths and weaknesses chart for our opponent. Bajan has 0.
0 strengths and weaknesses? That doesn't sound like you wrote anything down. You're describing a blank piece of paper. Welcome to the highs and lows of the Atlanta Falcons. This week, the stock was up as Michael Penix Jr. salted the earth with job security. The Falcons were making plays with their heads and
with his butt.
Time to learn about baby Falcons.
Iasis. Baby Falcon.
Kudos to CBS for resisting the urge to put Iron Eagles on J.J. Watt's lap. It was Bijan
With the mustard!
and the Commanders played catch-up all game. The Saints were 16.5-point underdogs going into this. Pretty generous. But Spencer Rattler, a man with a head like an uncooked dinner, did his best to keep them in it. James Cook set a franchise record, 8 straight games with a rushing touchdown, which seems like a very breakable record. Didn't they have O.J. Simpson and Marshawn Lynch? Why are all the referees so buff now? His arm looks like a horse's leg. Oh, come on!
We're asking these kickers to do what they call dirty balls.
Oh, I am quite familiar with the process. I believe it originated in Australia, aka the Fromunda from down under. Seriously, what gym do they all go to? Is anyone drug testing these guys? The Saints were still in this game late, until they were very much not. The Browns ran a quarterback sneak at the 1. I don't know about that now, said Joe Flacco's internal organs. Let this man retire with original parts. Myles Garrett wants to be a sports photographer. Forget AI. If Myles Garrett was coming for my job, I would start running, and I wouldn't stop until I hit the nearest ocean and drown. Joe Flacco's OC isn't old enough to vote. Hard to connect with a man who didn't live through tragedies like 9/11 and Johnny Manziel. Flacco said sometimes he buys him beer and they watch Bluey together. Is he on that fucking tablet again? Pew pew, pew pew, pew pew. Stefanski watched his team dissolve like the extra strength Alka-Seltzer he would soon be drinking and wondered if it was too late to draft another quarterback. That's it, boys. Time to surrender. Taint formation. Coach What's-His-Name gave up play-calling duties. Never a good sign when that's what got you the job. Cam Ward had 1,200 people at this game. Maybe one of them should take over play-calling duties, cause it didn't get better. They couldn't muster a single point. The Texans led with their Woody. Rookie Woody Marks with a 2-touchdown breakout game. Cam Ward finished with a dumpster QBR. Maybe 1,000 people shouldn't have skipped church. He seems mad. But it's like they say. Fuck! Coach What's-His-Name is now 3-18. They haven't won a game in 300 days. And the way it's going, I will never have to learn this guy's name. It's air quotes actor Mark Wahlberg. Seems like only yesterday he was an air quotes rapper. Drake May was sharp and efficient, like a spork or a buffoon. He ran one in and opened his chest to show how big his heart is. Gross. Marcus Jones made special teams more than just bathroom time. After he returned 3 kicks for 167 yards, he scored on one and nearly got a second. If it wasn't for that meddling leg jockey, who by definition shouldn't even have hands. They said Stephon Diggs was expecting a child. Medical miracle or UPS mix-up. The Panthers were embarrassed again. Bad kitty. Rookie quarterback Jaxon Dart got his first start after owner John Mara said to. Would simply not being Russell Wilson be enough? Yes. Dart rushed for a score and threw for another. He looked pretty good outside of that one time he was murdered.
His brother Diesel and sister Sydney are here.
His brother's name is Diesel Dart? What monster truck tequila sponge came up with that one? He sounds like the villain in a Fast and Furious movie. Give the kid a chance. Nobody's CPA is named Diesel Dart. Justin Herbert was picked off by the biggest man on the field. Was it luck or gravity? He took it back to the 3 and earned extra tummy rubs. Is this the same buff ref from before? Where are they getting these guys from? Prison? Brian Dable couldn't hide his affection for Dart. That's a lot of bro juice commingling. It was hot as hell. Who better to handle it than a baker? The Eagles' special teams were at it again, taking kicks for points. Cooper DeJean was flagged for stepping over a guy.
I had a lot of people step over me when they sacked me, and I had a lot of urges to just fire my right arm up there into where the sun doesn't shine.
Well, that would be his butt. Is that what you're saying? No wonder I have never seen him wear the same watch twice. We take you live now to 3 men in white shirts. Is it possible to find a 4th? Bingo. What the ever-living crap happened to the clock? You thought we wouldn't notice? How did it go from this to this? I find your lack of fonts disturbing. Emeka Egbuka scored a touchdown after everybody on the defense fell down like they were unplugged. Wait, what happened to the graphics now?
And clock winding down.
What clock? Where? Who says Kyron Williams doesn't have long runs? He had the longest 10-yard run I've ever seen. Adonai Mitchell made a highlight reel catch and nearly scored his first pro touchdown until his buttermits freed the ball at the 1. Matthew Stafford threw for 375 yards. Puka Nacua caught everything short of a yeast infection on his way to 170 yards and a score. Stafford looked rejuvenated, or just juvenated, I'm not really sure, but he threw a bunch of touchdowns, including the game winner to Tutu Atwell, who was wide open, a testament to his route running, and the Colts failing to field 11 men on defense. Whoopsie poodle. The Jaguars forced 4 turnovers. Devin Lloyd picked Brock Purdy twice and forced a fumble. During halftime, he stole 2 hot dogs and one of the urinal cakes. I'm not really sure why on that last one, unless he thought it was actual cake. And these days, it's always a possibility. Trevor Lawrence did what he does best: throw exactly 1 touchdown. He contributed in other ways, like taking out a ref.
Nice flag he got there. Be a shame if something happened to it.
Kyle Shanahan was scheming up touchdowns for his 3rd-string tight end, and I did not see Jake Tonjes dance. That's why nobody likes you, Jake. Kittle has personality. Kittle looks like Kool-Aid spiked with battery acid. Lamar Jackson is getting sacked left and right this season. He's like a toddler with a handgun. They can't protect him. They can't protect him from himself. CBS went to break with a curious musical choice. Is that mouth noises? Is someone playing a wood block? What is this Predator jazz music? Patrick Mahomes threw 4 touchdowns. They held the Ravens down and tickled them until they farted. Cheering for the Ravens is like having a favorite hospice patient. They can't beat the good teams. They should have brought the Band-Aids and the body bags. Roquan became No-Quan as half a dozen Ravens were injured in this.
Hey, next man up. Go play well.
Awfully chipper for a guy knee-deep in the morgue. Poor Ravens. No one wants to be a sandcastle before the tide. Ashton Jeanty broke out with 100 yards and 3 scores. He needs a nickname, like Licorice Tornado or Velvet Thunder. Something classy for letterhead. He's the first rookie Raider with 3 touchdowns in a game since BoJack Horseman. I think I read that right. Ben Johnson found it difficult to mask the fact that he is a complete dick.
You need to change what you're doing.
I don't know, you think so?
He's like Bill Belichick without the winning. You see that? Yeah, that's your team. The Bears finally met their match in dysfunction. Pete Carroll and Geno Smith were supposed to bring a steady hand to the Raiders. So far, all I see is Parkinson's. Smith was picked off 3 times, twice by Kevin Byard, and Smith immediately regressed into leg bongos. The Bears pulled this one out and showed what was deep within: heart. And Ben Johnson's tighty whities. Maybe switch to boxers if you're gonna take it out on everybody. Welcome to the Micah Parsons revenge game. Or the Kenny Clark revenge game. Or maybe no revenge game. Jerry Jones paid NBC to loom on the screen behind Chris Collinsworth all night. It was like Big Brother if he were old brother. They dragged this bitch to overtime. Brandon McAnus went to the 1-star review to hear the stupid rules of overtime, which are improved, but if you read the fine print, are still pretty stupid. Jordan Love nearly gave this game away in the final seconds. Why, Jordan? What is broken in you? And does Hallmark make a card that can fix it? There were no winners in this, no vengeance, no catharsis. Everyone left chafed and unsatisfied, like an orgy in an old folks' home.
Does the word sad apply at all to this?
I guess it's like the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, you must be the Green Bay Packers.
Hey there, Dolphins. What you wearing there, guy?
Midnight tuna. Braylon Allen had one punched out at the goal line, and Aaron Glenn responded by ripping off his head. The Dolphins showed some razzle-dazzle with a behind-the-back pass. Are the Miami Dolphins the Harlem Globetrotters of the NFL? And if so, does that make the Jets the Washington Generals? Because that would make sense. Darren Waller hadn't scored many touchdowns since he retired, but he had 2 in this. It looked like a good choice to return to the NFL. The rare good decision from a man with face tattoos. I have questions about whatever casual Nazi came up with this penalty motion. The Jets were a sloppy mess, committing 13 penalties. They say Aaron Glenn's chin spinach grew 3 sizes that day. This game was available on ESPN Deportes, which sounds like a trap if you speak Spanish. Jake Browning had problems with the communication in his helmet. He was playing a mixtape of Reiki music on loop, and Browning started giving people massages. Poor Jake, which is now legally his name, was as effective as thoughts and prayers. The Broncos were all over him, and he was browning his pants. They might as well have stuck a wax statue out there. It would have been the same result. $176 million was stuck waiting for a bus. Having 2 number 1 receivers doesn't mean much if we never see them. It's like buying the nicest coffin. Maybe they should have invested in a way to keep Joe Burrow's toe from getting turfed. A pair of skates will run you $40 at Walmart. Just ask them. They're there. Meanwhile, poor Jake was thinking about his entire life. Don't worry, Jake. There's a plane waiting. You're on to Cincinnati.
And now the salt pretzel of the week.
Yummy.
This week, the pretzel goes to the new dynamic kickoff. Last season, the NFL gave us the dynamic kickoff, and it was anything but. Kick returns plunged, and the whole thing felt like a very boring formality. This year, they tweaked it, pushing the touchback location out to the 35, which didn't seem like much, but as it turns out, the return rate has been 76% through the first 4 weeks of this season. That is a significant increase from last season. Kickers have added a wrinkle to it by adding what they call dirty kicks, which makes the ball wobble and bounce in unpredictable ways, which has become a problem for some specialists. I thought the kickoff was going to go extinct, and it's nice to see that it didn't. So, to be clear, I'm giving the pretzel to the kickoff, not Roger or whoever else came up with this. They can get their own pretzels. Thanks for watching Shut Up Football. Please leave your comments below, say hi to your mom for me, and we'll catch you next week. Peace!
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
What is this Predator jazz music?